let's dive right into this debate. Should it be a blanket ban, and if so, should it just be limited to the multinational companies, or should it be left to the consumers to decide? Just introducing our guest, Jayaram Venkatesan, activist and convener of the AARAPOR Movement, is joining us from Chennai. Mr. Alexander of the Tamil Nadu Vanigar Sangagalin Peramaipu is also joining us from Chennai. Harish Bijoor, brand expert, this evening with us from Hyderabad. Mohandas Pai, chairman for the Manipal Global Education, also joining us from Delhi. Sumanth C Raman, an activist and a regular online Newshour debates, joining us from Chennai. Mehta is with me here in the Mumbai studios. He's a holistic health guru. And Dr. Bejon Misra, consumer rights expert, also will be with us shortly. Will be with Tina in the Delhi studio. I just want to quickly just go across all our panelists, and just if in 2 lines, everyone can just give us a sense of where you stand on the debate, because it's not just about whether you are for this ban or not. It's where do you see the logic to have this or not? If we can just, maybe Mohandas Pai, you want to start that. Give us a sense of where you stand on this debate. We've been given a lot of reasons, from water shortage to health, environment, and even Tamil Nadu pride. What's your viewpoint?
No, I think the results are all the reasons are frivolous reasons. Obviously, some vested interests are behind this move. And for traders to force people to stop selling and not to do anything is totally wrong. Consumers can call for a boycott, is their right, but to force people not to do that, to organize big mochas and break the bottles is wrong. And I won't tell the people of Tamil Nadu that many jobs are being created in Tamil Nadu by the multinational auto companies, by the multinational IT companies. Now, if they all go away and say we don't want to invest in Tamil Nadu because these people are hostile, they don't like multinationals, where will you have job for young people? Where are the good jobs? India is opened up to foreign trade. People are free to come and invest. You are attracting investment. You are going behind them and asking them to come and invest. And then you start this frivolous movement for no reason at all, except for by some vested interest. You must look after your brand, look after the future of your children, where the jobs are going to come. You're creating a totally negative image of Tamil Nadu as a place which is violent, full of vested interests, where there's a breakdown of law and order. I don't think it's a good thing for you, so I oppose this. And yes, consumers should have a choice.
Mr. Mohandas Pai, unfortunately, this is an issue that we will be looking at. The fact that Tamil Nadu seems to be sending out this message right now. Look at these videos that have emerged of people going on the rampage, smashing bottles. Is this what Tamil Nadu has learned a protest is about? This is unfortunately a very negative message that's going out, but that's a larger issue. We'll come to that in a minute. But I want to go across to... Yeah, absolutely. This is not the way to protest. But let me go across to Jayaram Venkatesan on the actual reasons that have been put forth. Jayaram, the point is that if you talk about whether it is groundwater utilization and, all those for the ban say that these multinational companies are misusing the groundwater, whether you talk about health concerns, I ask you 2 very simple questions. If it's about health, then what guarantee are you giving us that the indigenous drinks are also extremely healthy for us? Because we understand all soft drinks are bad, irrespective. Secondly, groundwater utilization. If you feel these MNCs are misusing the groundwater, don't you think the same amount of water will be needed to justify the demand? Now, person X and person Y who are not getting Coke and Pepsi will start drinking some other soft drink, whatever is available, the indigenous brand, the amount of water needed is still the same.
I mean, there is no disagreement between what you said and my thoughts as well, because I see this as a first step. If the trade union is saying that we will ban Coke and Pepsi but not Bavento, I don't agree with it. My point is very clearly that if you look at the water table, let's take the water issue. It has been well documented that all these aerated companies or private water withdrawing the private water companies, what they have been doing is they have been withdrawing huge amounts of water. For making 1 liter, we know the amount of liters of Coke, so 9 liters or 10 liters are required. So now the question is that whether the government has come up with any regulation over the last 10 years with respect to groundwater regulation. They have not come up with any kind of regulation. Number 1. Number 2, if you look at the health aspect, you go to your doctor or any of our doctors actually say don't take aerated drinks. Particularly for children, they very clearly say don't give aerated drinks. And these are advices that are given. Now,
So
I also say
are saying
that
so,
it has to be
if the
neutral.
doctors are saying so, Jayaram,
trade unions,
and they're telling the parents, then let the parents decide for the children.
Right.
Isn't that how it should be? Let the parents decide for the children, and when children are adults themselves, after the age of 18,
Right.
they decide
It's
for
not your
themselves.
business, it's the parents'
Who
business.
are these traders?
So on the other side,
who are these traders,
on the other side,
Jayaram,
we can also
who are
argue
deciding on
that it's
behalf
not
of
the
the
government which
consumers?
has banned it.
Who are these traders who are deciding on behalf of me whether I should drink locally made or internationally made, or whether I should drink any kind of aerated drink at all? I am a well-read, educated consumer of
I don't agree
India
that
in 2017.
They should. I don't agree they should have a ban.
Yeah.
I don't say that they should have a ban. Their choice must be with the shopkeeper. See, many of the shopkeepers
so you say the choice should be with the shopkeeper or with the consumer. Let's take that point forward.
So the choice must be with
Jayaram, should the choice be with the consumer or the shopkeeper?
The shopkeepers can decide.
Why should the shopkeepers decide? Sumanth C Raman, what's happening here?
So the shopkeepers
what is happening here? So the shopkeepers are now deciding what the consumer should eat and drink.
With what has happened today.
Yes.
But what we must understand is...
So Jayaram, 1 minute please. 1 minute please.
Why this has
the
come
shopkeepers, Sumanth C Raman, should now decide what I get to eat and what I get to drink, not the state, not even the courts, but the shopkeepers and the traders.
1 minute. Tanvi, can I come in? Tanvi,
Yes.
1 minute. First of all, what is the role of the traders organization or the association? Is it to decide what is safe and what is unsafe? Then what is the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India doing? If individual traders can decide, and so tomorrow will the traders then decide what food is safe to eat, what soap is safe, what shampoo is safe to use, what are they going to go across this? How are they competent to decide this? If the government has certified Coke and Pepsi to be safe, then that should be the last word. How can the Traders Association decide? This is a form, there are clearly vested interests. There is an attempt to weaken Tamil Nadu's Tamil Nadu has been a magnet for industries for many decades, and that is now sort of being sought to be derailed by this. You take the second point, you take the point of saying that the groundwater issue first. The top 10 industries that are consuming groundwater, it does not include the bottled water, the Coke and Pepsi units.
Absolutely.
There are much more water intensive units which are already operating in the state. So what are you doing about them? How are you allowing so many distilleries and breweries to continue to make alcohol? Is that not utilizing groundwater? Is that a priority in terms of
even if you don't compare soft drinks with alcohol, Sumanth C Raman, even if you don't compare soft drinks with other industries, my point is, what is the guarantee that the indigenous soft drinks, which are not being protested against, what is the guarantee that they are good for health and they are not going to be misusing groundwater too? Let's go to Alex on that. Alex of the TNBSP. Alex, what is the guarantee that the indigenous brands are not going to be putting out drinks which are equally hazardous to health, which are going to be equally misusing groundwater? Where is the guarantee of that? So the point that Sumanth C Raman is making is absolutely valid, that this is nothing but vested interest. It's just about promoting indigenous versus the international brands. That's all it's about.
See, I want to start with a couple of points before we go into the debate. In terms of Coke and Pepsi, what we are looking at this moment, right? This Coke and Pepsi protest was started in the year of 1998, that we don't want to sell Coke and Pepsi because when we know that it contains a lot of pesticides and a lot of unwanted things which is causing damages to the body.
So
but
can you tell me what does Kalimark and Bovonto and Torino
we know
contain?
The Jallikattu has happened.
Can you tell me?
To decide, sir.
No, 1 second. If you're talking about hazardous chemicals and hazardous ingredients, why don't you tell us what are the ingredients in the homegrown brands like Kalimark, Bovonto and Torino?
In Jallikattu, there was a clear debate happened that we will not have consume Coke and Pepsi. It was the decision taken by more than 15 lakh people. Do you think that people are the youth which they took?
But on what basis?
So what's the problem?
What about the rest of the people who don't come under that 15 lakh? The rest of the people minus the 15 lakh have absolutely no choice to decide what they want to drink.
No. Can I
Out
come
of 8
in?
crore
Yeah, Bejon
people,
Misra
15
wants to
lakh
come
people
in.
will decide what is right.
Yeah, now-
consumers have already decided.
Dr.
Now
Bejon
listen,
Misra.
now listen very carefully.
Them they don't want to drink it, and it is a personal.
No. See, listen.
There is no specific ban given by the traders union to anyone. It was a
Nobody-
It was a healthy discussion.
Of course
which
it
is taken in advance. Yeah, that it was a discussion.
being
happened
taken off
between
the
15
shelves.
lakh
Bejon
people,
Misra, please,
15
Dr. Bejon
lakh
Misra.
traders that we don't
Yeah,
want to sell
you see-
Coke and Pepsi in Tamil Nadu. And at this moment, 70% of the people have stopped selling Coke and Pepsi, and 30% because of 30%.
The
we got
choice,
stocks already
the
from
choice
from
of the consumers cannot be undermined.
And now
let's
we
get it
cannot
very
just
straight.
throw the stocks
Let's
away.
get it very
The
straight.
stocks has to
First,
be
you get it very
sold
straight.
off, and over a period of time, this 100%.
No, the
will be
choice
achieved.
of the consumers cannot get undermined.
But I want to look at
the
one
choice
point.
of the
They
consumers
say that
cannot get
against this
undermined.
ban. But
If
and there is one
there
question
is a
which I want to raise
legal
it to the
product,
person, because when you
if
said
there is a
that-
legal
when you
product,
said that what is the
John,
job?
No, I
of the
don't
business?
understand.
If
But my
Alexander is
question
still
is,
able
are
to
we
hear
giving
us,
the water for the
Alexander,
children?
please hold
Are
on
we
for a
giving
minute. You've
food?
made a point.
Good.
You have
Thank
made a point.
Because
Let the other
we
panelists come in. You
continuously
cannot.
clearly identify that it
One by one.
keeps
You've
on
made a
going.
point, Alexander. Hold on to that. It's a 45-minute
Thank God.
debate. Yes, please hold on. Take a deep breath.
Thank
Go
God
ahead, Bejon
he
Misra.
stopped. You see, the choice of the consumers are paramount. Nobody has the right to undermine it. A product has come on the shelves through a legal process. It has been vetted, it has been found to be safe, and it has been found to be commercially viable to be sold to the consumers. So when I have a choice, I have the right to choose based on credible information, not politicized information, not information which is one-sided. You see, Competition Commission has clear mandate that if any trader tries to influence the consumer, tries to cartelize, tries to be deceptive, it is illegal. They cannot do it. Tamil Nadu should be taken to task for doing this. All those traders should be taken to task for doing this because they're violating the law of the country.
Absolutely. In fact, I want to
Number
bring
one.
in.
Number-
Yes, Bejon, I just want to bring in Harish Bijoor on that point as well. Now, Harish Bijoor, we're already seeing, in today's day and age, people who are health conscious are well aware of the harmful effects and are moving away already as their own lifestyle choice. You don't have to tell them to do that, and Mickey can come in on that in just a bit. But Harish Bijoor, you know how some of these businesses and the links with traders work. Is this just about breaking the monopoly and pushing forth some local brands then?
First of all, this entire movement is totally suspicious. I really call it a regressive attitude which is just coming in very suspiciously, because I just want to make one point, and the point simply is that the consumer is the supreme entity out here. I call the consumer a cuddly little dog, an intelligent dog, and the retailer is essentially the tail. The retail distribution actually just brings the product and leaves it there. The choice is made by the consumer. Out here what's happening is the tail is trying to wag the dog, whereas the dog must wag the tail. I'd be very happy if an average person from Tamil Nadu stood up and the masses said, we don't want to drink the colas. But it must be a consumer decision, not a middleman's decision.
Yes.
Middleman's
Yes.
decisions are always
Absolutely.
suspicious.
Absolutely.
So why go regressive?
Absolutely.
And also, if you look at the reasons, if you look at the reasons for this also, and let me go across to Mickey Mehta on this, because, I think this is the right question to ask you. Health reasons are being cited for this, right, Mickey Mehta? Now, if health reasons are being cited, there are many questions that emerge naturally. One, how are we sure about the health hazards or lack of them in the other soft drinks? And if the Tamil Nadu Traders Association is so worried about health, why not ban burgers? Why not ban all sorts of saturated oils? Why not ban cigarettes? Why not just ban everything then, if it's about health?
First of all, why this cola very deep? There's a lot of unnecessary hue and cry about this. Of course, it's a welcome ban. Only in one perspective, I'm happy children won't get to just pop it and have it, time and again. But otherwise, it's very unfair. Because they've singled out Coke and Pepsi, and of course, they've left some products still up on the shelves, the local products, right? So that's very unfair. It is pure, absolute victimization of these international companies. Yes, certainly, none of these products have healing properties, so they couldn't be bracketed under health category. But at the same time, there is liquor available, there is cigarette available, let the consumer, enlightened consumer choose.
You know, we're just going to try and fix the audio, your audio. We're having a bit of trouble, so we'll just come back to you in 2 seconds while they fix that audio. But the point that he was making there,
I wanted to go back.
yes,
I wanted to cite an example.
yes, Bejon.
You see, in 1977, the government banned Coke from functioning out of the country. How much of resources we lost? You see, the whole infrastructure got destabilized. And then again, the Coke came back selling in India. Why do you need to give such wrong signals to investors in our country? For heaven's sake, don't curb the rights of the consumers by infringing on their choice. I am repeatedly telling the policymakers, the people, you know, who are political executives, do not encourage political system to interfere in terms of consumers' rights. And they just don't try to understand that. What I want to make it very clear is, if anybody is tutoring wrong things to the consumer, we should all speak up. We should all speak up against it. We should make sure that they get isolated, they get exposed. Because today they're exposed. And I fully agree that there is a vested interest working. There's a vested interest working, because if they were so concerned about the consumers, they would have done many more things in Tamil Nadu which will be in the interest of the consumer. They don't bother about that. They don't bother about their health. They talk about all these kind of nuisance which is just creating a havoc in the country, giving wrong signals about India.
Yes, yes, and I want to take this point, Alexander. That's the whole point. You say that XYZ number of people have decided that they don't want to and they want to boycott that. Well, good for them.
Yeah.
They should. If they've taken a healthy decision, if they've taken a decision, and I agree with you, if they've taken a decision for the benefit of the environment, if they've taken a decision because the state government has failed to ensure that these multinational companies follow the norms and ensure that there is bare minimum wastage of groundwater, or that there are other ways that the state government ensures that there is replenishment of this water, then that is the question you need to ask the state government. How can you make or force a decision and a ban on consumers, on citizens?
Exactly.
Let them decide.
See, basically, I need to answer 2 or 3 questions which he has raised it. One is he was raising it why we banned it only Coke and Pepsi. The reason behind why we banned Coke and Pepsi is, at this moment, everyone from a health perspective, they know that any kind of an aerated drinks or a carbonated drinks is bad for health. And it has been very clearly discussed.
So do all of them.
Jallikattu,
why only 2 brands? Do all of them. Why only 2 brands? Why are you targeting 2 brands?
Let me come back.
Why are you targeting 2 brands? You answer that.
At this point.
No, why are you targeting 2 brands? Why are you targeting 2 brands? Why are you not targeting all brands of beverages which are harmful?
70% of the people have said very clearly.
No, 70%. Don't throw a random number here. Don't throw a random number here, Jayaram. Don't throw a random number of 70% of people. Who?
You don't
70% of which people?
You don't say how many percent.
70% of the traders may have been forced to follow this ban. 70% of the traders who are part of that one association may have been forced to follow this ban.
You are misleading the citizens.
Not 70% of the citizens.
You have no right to mislead the citizens.
Come back and said that they clearly.
You are misleading the citizens.
That they contributed a large part of.
You are misleading the citizens.
Do you want that to happen in Chennai? In Tamil Nadu?
Tanvi.
We don't want to happen it.
Who are
Tanvi,
you to
1 minute.
decide?
Can I
Don't mislead the citizens.
This is Tanvi, this is
Sumanth C Raman,
1
just
minute.
coming to you.
1 minute.
Let him just conclude
This
the point.
yeah.
Sumanth, coming to you. But you know, he's about to answer a couple of really important
What these
questions that have
people
been
who
asked of
say
him.
that we don't
And
want
Jayaram
this
and
to happen,
Alexander,
who
both
is
of you,
we?
you need to answer these questions.
can a small
Why the
group of
targeting
people
of only
come
these 2
together
companies?
and
And I
determine
must
what
add that
others have
even
to
if you're
do?
talking about wasting of water, one second, the question to both of you, if you talk about wastage of water, what about the other industries who waste water? Let me point out, there are more than 2 companies who are taking water from SIPCOT, which is of course the State Industrial Promotion Corporation of Tamil Nadu. And while the money allotted to Coke and Pepsi is more than other companies, the amount that they withdraw is actually less than these other companies. Some companies use a little more than 9.3 lakh liters per day, which is more than Coke and Pepsi put together. So then why this selective, why are you targeting only Coke and Pepsi then? So, Sumanth, we'll come to you after they just respond to this question.
See, give me a minute to answer this. Give me a minute to answer this. See, in fact, the RTI that you are reading from was filed by us. We got that information out and we have very clearly said why you are giving so much water to ATC tires and targeting Coke and Pepsi. We have raised that point as well. But what we have to understand is that when we talk about vested interest, over the last several years, there has been vested interest in favor of Coca-Cola and Pepsi as well. That is something that we need to understand. The Tamil Nadu government's Groundwater Regulation Act has not been implemented from 2003 to 2013. In 2013, they withdrew the Groundwater Regulation Act. So when governments act with vested interest in favor of corporates, we don't raise a question.
So why don't you go and protest against that? Why don't you protest day in, day out? Use this energy that seems to be quoting right now. If you talk about the youth movement, if you talk about people's sentiment, shouldn't it be diverted there? Should you not go today, stand outside the Chief Minister's residence and say, fix this problem, fix our environment and fix the problem, ensure there is accountability.
Tanvi,
that is what has to be done. You can't tell the consumer
over the last
what to
1.5 years, we have been fighting. We have been fighting for the water bodies. We have been fighting for the water bodies. We have approached the court. We have got an order for rejuvenation of Villivakam Lake. So we have been fighting for the water bodies in the first place. What you have to understand is that the government is completely, with respect to the policies, the government is completely in favor of the corporates and the encroachers. So now what happens is that because of that, there is a huge public anger, and that is why I am not in favor of trade unions' announcement that they should ban only Coke or Pepsi. They should definitely follow the same view with respect to Bowanto as well.
Okay, Sumanth C Raman. Sumanth C Raman, if that is the case, then the question that we are asking here repeatedly is the question that why are you not banning local brands like Bowanto, Trio, Solo, Frutang, Torino, Daily, Mapilai? I mean, for some of these brands, you probably even want to sit and wonder where is their approval and regulations coming from? Are they safe? At least for Coke and Pepsi, the consumer who wants to pick it up from the shelves knows that. How do you know that about each and every unknown local
brand? Three very quick
points. Yeah.
No, 1 minute. First of all, this is not about health, clearly, because they are not banning all brands of aerated drinks. They are banning only 2. So therefore, the others are just as bad, but they are not banning them. So it's not about health. It's not about groundwater, because more groundwater consuming industries are not being targeted. Only Coke and Pepsi are being targeted, which consume much less groundwater than others. It's not about money going off to foreign companies, because the same Pepsi and Coke's other brands, which include mineral water, which include chips, and which include a whole lot of other stuff like Minute Maid or Fruity and other things, are allowed. So this is clearly, all the 3 arguments are shot to smithereens. This is in some ways a form of economic terrorism. The traders have got no business to decide what is safe and what is not safe. That is the job of the government. And tomorrow, if what the government needs to do, government of Tamil Nadu has to call the Traders Association and tell them in no uncertain terms that this is basically a kind of a blackmail kind of a situation that they are trying to create. Tomorrow, this will be extended to many other sectors. Mind you, they will start telling you which
our government sells liquor. Our government,
that is completely unacceptable.
You know what we will see then? What we will see then is even in other sectors, when any vested interest wants something to play out, they are going to go on the streets. They're going to start protesting, just like we saw smashing of bottles here. That's what's going to happen again. Very, very dangerous precedents being set. Yes, there are jobs at stake, and we're going to come back to that point. Yes, absolutely. No, we'll come back to that point. I just want to go back to Mickey Mehta, because my apologies, we didn't have your audio very clear earlier, but I want to come back to you on the point about health. And if they're making this about health, then where is the guarantee that the other drinks that are going to be on the shelves in lieu of Coke and Pepsi are going to be safe? And if it's really about health, then why not just ban everything that's bad for health?
Absolutely. I think, we should be inviting Dhanush here to sing a song, Why This Cola Very D? And guys, please take a chill pill. I mean, don't scream so much. It's not worth fighting over the cause. But certainly this is victimization. They are singling out. It is politically driven. And yes, the others are equally good or equally bad. As simple as that. But I'm very happy in a way that at least in this short-term ban, because it will be sorted very soon, hopefully, Children will keep away from colas.
No, but Mickey, my point is that you are setting a dangerous trend here. And then where does it stop?
Absolutely.
Now tomorrow you will tell me don't go and eat Tirunelveli ka halwa because it has too much of sugar or too much of ghee. Tomorrow you tell me don't eat these biscuits or Z biscuits because they are harmful. Eat these ones.
Absolutely.
I should be able to decide whether it's gajar ka halwa or Tirunelveli halwa. It's my choice. So how does it matter? Yeah.
This is a process of evolution. One figure.
How is it evolution? This is a bunch of traders who probably are getting money from some local brands and have gone out and started revolting against these people.
I'm talking about myself that 35 years back when I used to practice martial arts. We used to get out of the class drenched completely. I used to consume 10 colas at a time. And now there's a time maybe once in 6 months or once in 9 months I just have a couple of sips of a Sprite or a Pepsi or something like that. So it's a matter of
But
evolution.
would you not be angry 30 years ago if somebody came and took away that bottle from you?
In that state of mind, certainly I would have been. So let the consumer decide. There should be enlightenment.
Yes.
Of course,
also, Mickey, whatever state of mind, even in your more enlightened and evolved state of mind now, the point is it's not just about Coke and Pepsi. Whatever soft drink you're talking about, any colas, all aerated drinks, all drinks which have a processed sugar added to it, all of it is bad. So we are saying if it's about health, then just ban everything.
It's certainly
but that's
not
not what this is about. This is about a lot more.
Exactly.
And
Absolutely.
yeah, let me go back to Harish Bijoor and then Mohandas Pai on some of the dangers that we see here. Harish Bijoor, one is the one that Tanvi was talking about. Tomorrow, where will you draw the line? Who is going to tell us what to eat, what to drink? Who is going to tell us what is not acceptable, what is going to go off the shelves? That's one. And secondly, there are very serious repercussions here, possibly looking at loss of employment for hundreds of thousands of people. Is that not a valid worry also?
This is certainly a valid worry because, I started by saying out that the entire movement is suspicious. The retailer has taken himself a bit too seriously. Just because he's a guy who's putting together a provision store, he cannot imagine that he is the consumer. So what's really happening is, I think a certain degree of right-wingism in marketing is just about emerging. And I think that is a bigger issue which we need to look at. Because, there is a strong feeling for Indian brands. There's strong feeling for Desi. There's a strong feeling for the traditional. There's a strong love for the David versus the Goliath. And incidentally, it so happens that the Goliath is the typical MNC and the Davids are all the small little manufacturers who emerge out of India. So I think we cannot ignore this because, we have had the Vidarbha movement in India at a point of time. We have had the Swadeshi movement at a point of time. And is this version 3.0 of that Desi movement is a question we must keep behind in our minds when all this is going on.
Is it Mohandas Pai? Is that what we are looking at? There are several...
Tamil Nadu is picking
Yes, and there are several, local big names now who are also selling and cashing in on that. Is that what you think is at the core of this Desi versus Videsi? And if so, then perhaps it doesn't apply to some of these brands who've been here for years and years together.
That maybe some people are paying extra commission to the traders.
Yes.
I think people are paying some extra commission to the traders and the traders are using the muscle to do it. I see it as a breakdown of law and order in Tamil Nadu. I see it as a mob rule in Tamil Nadu where the rule of law is being broken. Like the gentleman said, the government is captured. The government is captured, you must go to the court. There are the courts to enforce the rule of law. Go to the court, let the court decide, let the government decide if you don't trust your own government. But if you take the law into your own hands, you are mortgaging the future of your state, you're mortgaging employment, you're spoiling your entire name. As it is the last 2 or 3 years, investment has come down in Tamil Nadu because of many, many things. And this one more occasion where Gundagiri and all these people ganging up together
that's
and they're trying to do something. If you don't get investment, where are the jobs for young people?
It has not escaped anyone's attention, Mohandas Pai, that these traders organizations are intentionally and regularly referring to the Jallikattu movement. It just happened right here on the Newshour tonight as well. They keep referring to the Jallikattu movement and they're talking about how the entire, the idea of this movement also got spurned from the Jallikattu movement. And then we've seen what's happened. We've seen people out on the streets. We've seen violent protests. We've seen smashing of bottles. So what is the message that's going out? Isn't there an underlying sort of veiled threat in here somewhere?
Vigilante groups cannot run a state.
Yeah.
Vigilante groups cannot run the state. The state has to be run as per the constitution and the rule of law. These are all vigilante groups who are taking the law into their own hands, and just because they had an agitation where they prevail, it doesn't mean they must do things everywhere. Tomorrow in other states, if other states say we're going to boycott the goods manufactured in Tamil Nadu, we are not going to buy, because Tamil Nadu is a major manufacturing state. They export the goods to other states. If they say we don't want to do it for Tamil Nadu, we don't like the brand, then what's going to happen? I think they must be. I think they must not become vigilantes and become over exuberant and say we are going to govern, we are going to do this because we have a mob rule. I think it's totally wrong. They're hurting their future, and obviously there are vested interests behind this.
I just want to take that point too, Jayaram. Jayaram, this is the point, and the other argument that we have been given is that you need to also promote your indigenous brands. And this seems to be some kind of sentiment that people have against the multinational brands. Now, I just want to put it out for people to understand that after being here for decades and decades, some of these international, especially FMCG brands, have been here for over 100 years. They've probably created more jobs. They've probably given more livelihoods to people in our country than some of our newer local domestic brands have. So, in 2017, it's really bizarre if we sit and start differentiating it like that. For example, according to Indian Beverages Association, both Pepsi and Coke provide employment to around 350,000 people, besides improving the livelihoods of 500,000 farmers and about 4 million retailers who are selling their products, multiple products, day in, day out. Jayaram, how does it become about foreign and Indian then? When they are here, they are making it here, they are selling it to people here, they are providing jobs to people here, they are literally marketing it for people here. They have even customized it, and half their brands are now specifically designed and customized for Indian consumers.
See, let me make it clear. I am not subscribing to this view of foreign versus Indian. I think everything should be taken the same view, be it Bovento or Coca-Cola or something. Okay. But the point that we need to understand is that Coca-Cola is also guilty. If you take villages like Mehendiganj and so on, how they have actually withdrawn the groundwater in Uttar Pradesh, and how the farmers around suffered. What happened in Plachimada is something that we know. How they actually discharged the sludge without treating is something that we know. In Tamil Nadu, 70% of the blocks are already at a critical and subcritical level. Now, let me please allow me to complete. Please allow me to complete with respect to the jobs. With respect, so.
No, sir, the issue is not
don't you know that for Gangai Kondan, even at the time when if the permission was given, people were protesting it. Don't you know that?
Association
now,
the right to decide.
Let me complete, please, Sumanth C Raman. Let me complete, please. See, the point is that we need to look at what kind of industries that we need to promote. Do we have a policy for agriculture versus industry? Right? Do we have a policy? For example, many of the car companies and these bottling companies are problems. We need to recognize that they use huge amount of water and create very little jobs. If you look at a car company that has promised 40,000
you are talking
jobs,
about the larger issues. But Alexander, and we'd like Alexander to speak on this. The questions that Tanvi asked, Alexander, you must respond to them. Because we are looking at the possibility of huge job losses. We are talking about companies that have been here for multiple years. We're talking about companies, according to Cola and Pepsi, they are registered in our country. Why would you want them to not run business in a state which is going to make them lose 1,400 crore a year? The question really is for you, Alex, to answer.
You can create a lot of employments with alcohol. You can create a lot of employment.
One second, can Alexander answer, please?
Coca-Cola and Pepsi, Alexander, and Bovento and all these companies. But you need to understand that this is not sustainable in the long run.
But let me take this point when you said that the business model, right? When we know that the Kalima with us, with the Bovento one, is there for a century. It's with us for 100 years of time. And do you know how many small soda companies has gone out of the place now? And there is a company called Leno.
So is that not harmful?
That has been in
is that not harmful to our health?
Now it is not
that not harmful to our health, Alexander?
Then there is one soda company called Madurai.
Do they have a secret recipe and different set of local plants that they are using?
And what I'm trying to say is
Alexander,
these
no,
are all
please
local
explain to
markets,
me. If
and
you are
because
giving an
of this,
example of a
foreign markets
local
coming in
brand,
and they're crashing
if you are
up.
giving an example of the local brand, what kind of organic ingredients that they are using that becomes so healthy for us to drink? How is it different?
Look at
See, in
And,
terms of
are they
ingredients,
doing it
in terms
without
of
extracting
ingredients, let me come to the
groundwater?
point. See, currently the Coke and the Pepsi have been
Let them fight
manufactured.
properly
Let's be,
and
it has been manufactured in Chennai or across Tamil Nadu, and that has been stationed
No,
almost for
it
6
is-
to 7 months. And there's a lot of ingredients. It's been added into the Coke and Pepsi to make sure the pH level has been maintained, even when it has been transmitted from here to other part of the state. So, in terms of the pesticide or in terms of the coloring agents which
Why
has
don't
been
you
added to
complain to
Coke
the
and
regulator?
Pepsi.
Where is the report? Where is the
Taking the law into
data?
your own hands. Complain to the
We can look at
regulator.
in terms of sugar level,
Go to
sugar
the
level
court.
is high
Yeah.
File a
compared
case
to
to the
a
court and
bottom,
give
but
all
it
data.
doesn't mean that
Why are
it
you
is
having
harmful.
mob rule?
It is same in terms of the look.
Why are you becoming a mob and preventing everybody? Go to the court.
Absolutely.
There are institutions to go.
See,
You
in
are
terms
not
of
the
government,
ruler of the
okay,
state.
let me put up
You
a
people are
point.
not the rulers.
With
Don't lead a mob.
Do you know there is a food and drugs regulator in
Go
every
to the court,
state?
my friend. Go to the court. File a case against them.
Don't you know that it is
Give them
bad for
data.
health? And currently at this
Why are you
moment,
going
this
to the
poison
streets?
has been consumed
Why are
by
you leading
all
a
the
mob?
children here.
Why are you
All the
destroying
school-going
things in
children.
the state? Why are you
And
spoiling
this
the
has been
name of the
proved
state?
that
Alexander, you
causing
keep
cancer to the
repeating the
children.
same point. Don't you know it's bad for
Yeah,
health?
you are
keep repeating
instigating
the same
them.
point.
And look at the
Please answer
violence in the
Mohandas
state.
Pai. Mohandas Pai has asked you a straight question. If you have any issues about any product, please go to court with it. Why this mob rule?
Exactly.
See,
Go to court.
that is what we are trying to say.
Why
When
mob
we
rule?
say that
Who
it
are
is
you
not
to decide
harmful,
and break
there-
the law?
there should be a
and how
serious
you go to
investigation
do
into
this.
this.
Violence
Happened in
and
US,
say we should boycott.
Where US in terms of US,
We
the
must-
Coke and Pepsi
we
came
must
forward
have a very
and they
serious investigation.
acknowledged and apologized to the citizens of US, saying that we had a massive share in terms of obesity to the US government. Do you think that it is wrong, or do you think it has not been proven anywhere?
Right or wrong,
It is
sir,
not
I don't
true.
think you need to
And do you
decide
think
for
that
the
it is
for the
good
rest
to
of the
vote by
citizens of
vote
Tamil
by
Nadu
vote
or for
by
this
government,
country.
fight by
You
government,
don't get to
give them
decide.
data.
Nobody gets to decide except the consumers and the citizens themselves. I need to start wrapping this up. But very quickly, 30 seconds to Sumanth C Raman. Sumanth C Raman, even if this ban is wrong, it does raise a very, very crucial question, which is what is happening in the state of Tamil Nadu today. And it begs
Yeah.
for the attention of
Yeah.
the state government,
In the-
doesn't it?
And
Yeah, it does. There is a huge leadership vacuum in Tamil Nadu. Right now, the fringe elements are setting the agenda. That is the real problem in the state, and this is not the only issue. But the fringe elements, a small minority, is setting the agenda. They are more vocal. They are willing to come out and demonstrate. The silent majority is simply sitting, and they are not willing to sort of stand up and be counted. This is going to be harmful for the state if the same trend continues. If in this particular case
let me
the
put a
chief
point.
minister
It is not
and
a
the
small-
government
it
need
is
to
not a
act,
small group.
they will have
It
to
is not a
call.
small
They will
group.
have to call
It
the
is the
Traders
youth
Association.
population, more than 15 lakh people
I'm
who will
sorry.
be-
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
You got no.
Okay, now we're going to get into another argument and we don't really have the time to do that. So I'm sorry, I'm going to ask both of you to pull back now. Viewers, the point is this. It is your decision at the end of the day what it is that you want to drink and what it is that you want to eat beyond the regulation, between the regulations and the policies that have been set up
Not
by the
only that.
government. Now, if a company, if a factory is violating rules, is damaging the environment, is damaging your health, there are other ways of doing it. We here at Times Now don't believe that getting out on the streets, resorting to violence, forcing retailers to take a product off the shelf is the way to raise your voice. There are other methods to do it, whether you make representations in the court or at the regulator's office or at the state government's office. We are completely out of time, but we thank you all for joining us on this debate.